SG Reads.
Hello fellow travelers, my name is SG and welcome to the channel. Today I wanted to talk about a quick ARG located here on YouTube that I got really interested in, that is based on the Batman IP, and I thought it was very interesting and wanted to just review it, talk about it, and maybe even give my own theory about it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you do. I would really appreciate it if you at least subscribe. And yeah, if you have your own opinions on the story, please let me know. I'd be really interested. The main story can be broken down into 6 episodes as of right now, because there hasn't been any more uploads, but there have been one at least recently. The names of them are called The Bat Incident, The Jim Gordon Audio Log, GCPD Instructional Presentation, The Truth, Missing People's Broadcast, and Names. The Bat Incident involves both the Arkham Asylum along with creepy visuals of Batman and the untimely deaths of several known characters such as Poison Ivy, Killer Croc, and Man-Bat, but also the introduction of Joker, who seems mentally traumatized by the appearance of Batman. The Jim Gordon audio log seems to be that of an audio log that was found on Jim Gordon's desk, and also has a bit of a conversation between Renee Montoya and Harvey Bullock, which also introduces for the first time Bruce Wayne introducing himself as the Bat, and kind of giving what his realistic look appears to be. GCPD Instructional Presentation advises people what they should do if they come in contact with the Bat, which is run away, and in case he were to kidnap certain individuals. Do not persuade or do not try to fight him off. The Truth is kind of a mysterious one, which involves a confession of one Bruce Wayne himself, along with several other examples of storytelling that I will talk about later, because this one does have a lot of important takes on it. The next video, Missing People, involves different children that have gone missing over the last year, and when you look at the list, it's all within the same 3 months, dating from October to November, going from Dick Grayson to Stephanie Brown, well-known Batman affiliates in the comics. And then finally, when we go down to names, the most recent upload, we have an unknown, I guess you could say, presenter going into Wayne Manor, or the wreckage of it, which has been destroyed at this point, and finding files, a batsuit, and much more down there. The files show different names from the Batman storyline, which are criminals, but then it shows another one that has names such as Stephanie Brown, Tim Drake, well, not Tim Drake, that's been redacted, but it has Dick Grayson, we have Barbara Gordon, but we also have Lucius Fox. We also have different people who have been part of the Bat family, but are also on this list, which are also, half of them are on the missing list. And for right now, that's pretty much all we got in the mode of story. I do suggest going to see it. You can find it on his main YouTube page, Sillatrix. I'll leave it down in the comment section and also in the description if you want to go check it out. I really do advise you do. It's very interesting, very creepy, and I'm turning into a big fan of it. Now, for me, for any analog horror, especially, this type of style, my first question is usually, who's the one recording? Or who's the one putting this all together? There has to be at least 1 or 2 people, right? So that leads me to think that it's actually 3 people who are doing this, maybe 4. The first one, obviously, because of the last upload we had, it comes to hint that it's Tim Drake, because he says that his name's on this list, and that it's the only name that we don't see on the list, or it's there and it's just been redacted by him. So that tells me that Tim Drake himself might be the one who did at least this video. Because if we go back to Batman comics, we do know that for a fact that Tim Drake is one of the only Robins to ever discover the Batcave himself, along with finding out who Bruce Wayne is. In this situation, it's either he is a younger adult who is looking at the Batman incident and trying to figure it out himself, and has been kind of toying with this idea, or has been intrigued by it at least. Remember, in the comics, Tim Drake is sort of a child genius himself. he would be about 15, maybe 14 at this time period. So that's a bit of a stretch to believe, but it does kind of fit with the idea that he is either in this world trying to be a young detective rather than a reporter, because everything that we see, everything in that writing style in this episode points to Tim Drake. Now, I did say that I do believe that there are more than one person putting this all together. The second is the one in the red writing, the one with the creepier, darker writing, and that obviously is Batman. He has found these tapes, and he is the one kind of adding small commentary. And even several of the descriptions, we do see that he is leaving little comments along the way. That is an odd detail to add, that he is adding to his own story in a way that allows the kind of viewer to see what's happening. There's not really much animation that I could say here. There is small clips, there are a lot to say in this, but I will say that there is a lot of visuals that does help this out, that does add to the creep factor, that do act as both a reminder that maybe in the eyes of somebody in Gotham, Batman is a terrifying figure, or at least in this world he is a terrifying figure that should be arrested at this point. The images do help with that, and along with the audio that's given, does give a lot to the story overall and make this feel like a real found footage kind of situation. Gives a lot to the imagination to understand, like I said. When you look at analog horror, what I like to look at is who's the intended audience and who is the sender. In this situation, I think there's actually three, according to what I've seen, and that being Tim Drake as one of the main presenters. We do have Batman, who is adding his own comments throughout. We can see that in the red lining. And of course, we do have Riddler, who, if we go by the Truth episode, which adds that little jagged line work to the words, it does make it believable that he has been searching into who is this Batman character along the way. So that leads me to think that Tim Drake's acting as detective, Riddler may have found his footage and has been putting it all together himself, and Batman is the real uploader of this all thing. That he is either trying to call for help, or he is just giving a warning out to Gotham in case they want to try and find and stop him. In this story, we do know that Bruce Wayne is still in the mindset of a victim, that he has not gone over the death of his parents, and has not tried to make his life better. In fact, he seems to have dwelled on it. He has starved himself, locked himself in his mansion, and only comes out to see friends for things he needs. And we do see that a picture of him very frequently, of him, what he looked like and what he is now, and that being kind of malnourished. And even in the description in the first episode, The Bad Incident, we do get a brief description of Batman being more zombie-like, or at least being more of a malnourished bat creature than anything else. And we do get this idea that he is terrifying looking. And from episode 2, we do get a good look at his face, and it does look like he is pretty much wasting away. So what's happened to Bruce Wayne at this point? Why is he like this? And is there any way to help him at this situation? Let's find out, shall we? Another odd but important detail is the missing people incident. In that, we do see a lot of familiar names, all members of the Bat family, that have gone missing or abducted. Now, in retrospect, it doesn't seem odd for Batman to be attracted to Dick Grayson or Barbara Gordon or any of them, but in most situations, he doesn't even know who they are. So why does he know them? How does he know them? Some of these are important figures, like Barbara Gordon being the commissioner's daughter, but other them are some of those are them like Dick Grayson and Jason Todd. They wouldn't be known locally. Dick Grayson was a traveling circus person, so he wouldn't have been in Gotham that long. Jason Todd would be under the radar because he doesn't really have a place to stay. He is more of a street kid more than anything else. And Tim Drake, being obviously the first one to actually go missing, is an odd situation too, because that shows that somebody is using Tim Drake's footage, or at least his story, to put this out. Again, going back to the Riddler being the one to put this all together more than anything else. With that being said, all the other characters, except for Stephanie Brown, seem to not have been discovered or have gone missing yet. So that leads to a whole list of questions, like why is he targeting the Bat family specifically? What is he doing to them? And I think the more we go into it, the more it starts to make sense. Now, the overall story that we know from the analog horror, if putting it all together makes sense, is that Bruce Wayne, after the death of his parents, became a recluse, to his truest sense, that he has locked himself away in Wayne Manor and is trying to build himself into this figure to cause terror and injustice throughout Gotham. And in his version, at least in this version as we see it, he's doing it by getting rid of all supervillains or criminal activity altogether, by using a swift and cruel form of justice in his own way. And at a certain point, whether it be in 1962, there's a turning point for him, because towards the end of that year, at least in the 7th month of that year, we do see that he starts kidnapping people, or children specifically, children that have classically been related to the Bat family overall. And that has something to do with Ted Kord as well. We don't know what exactly, but he does have a list of people that he has noticed or has high possibilities to become one with his family, if you will. Now, we do see that some did not survive. In fact, most did not survive. We can assume that at least 3 of them didn't. That'd be Dick Grayson, Barbara Gordon, and Stephanie Brown. We're not sure about Jason Todd because as we saw his image, it changes into that of a Joker/Batman lookalike. So what that entails is yet to come. But for right now, we do know that at least Tim Drake himself is missing as well, as we saw in the last video. So with that, we pretty much end it from there, that he, with Batman kidnapping and trying to turn more people into like him, or at least trying to resurrect a family that he has lost a long time ago. But that's pretty much what we know so far. Now we come with the speculation of what could be happening behind the scenes. Now, a story we don't know, which is just pure speculation on my end, is that Batman, aka Bruce Wayne, became Batman, started dishing out his own sense of justice, trying to do what he did in the original comics and movies, trying to be a Cape Crusader, wearing a mask and doing all he can with gadgets and classic techniques that we've seen in before. But in this one, we do see that he has a close relationship with Ted Kord, suggesting that he went to Ted Kord at some point, probably worked with him, lived with him for a minute, and has said that he was looking into something. I would say that maybe he was looking into something to help him become a better vigilante or better judge, jury, and executioner overall. And when trying to achieve that sense, he probably saw something he couldn't believe, something that was troubling him, and realized that he needed something more than just what he had. And I think that because this is Ted Kord's storyline, we got a glimpse at Crisis, which is pretty much when all of the DC Universe had become sort of this kind of battlefield amongst superheroes. And he at least saw a different version of himself. A Bruce Wayne that was more kept up with himself, more prideful, and had more people with him to see him and grow, help this Batman image grow as it did. And with that knowledge, he wanted to find those people that would help him grow and help the legacy grow as well. And from Ted Kord's company, he managed to find a list of people, or supposed people, that would either go on to help him or go on to achieve his goals. And them being pretty much rational people in this world, he went on to abduct and do whatever he wanted to turn them into the perfect, not soldiers, but creatures of vengeance, I should say, to help his twisted reality in its own way. Now let's talk about the one missing character, the one that's never talked about in any of the analog horror, and that being Alfred. Now, at first I would like to say that this is probably a world where Alfred didn't exist at all, where he was not there to help anybody, where he did not help Batman at all and did not help to achieve his goals. But with that being said, I would like to add a slimmer chance, and that being that Alfred is there. That Alfred is trying to help Bruce Wayne. Not in the way that he would like him in this world, but probably trying to bring him closer to people. In this one, he has no control over what happens to Bruce Wayne. He has become recluse, trying to do his own thing, and has even gone on to be a source of justice in himself. We do see that there is a Batcave and that there is certain things that stayed the same. Maybe Alfred tried to help him trying to think positive, but when things got too much, he went to Ted Kord to look for help, trying to become something more, trying to help himself become bigger in the situation. So, with that, when he did start doing all this with the missing people, Alfred couldn't abide by it. He couldn't do it. He did not like that the first missing person, which was Tim Drake, happened 3 months before the rest did. You see it happening on the 7th month, while the rest happened more towards the end of October. And with that being said, that may have been the cause of the start of the Wayne Manor fire. That Alfred, trying to stop this whole thing from happening and probably trying to stop Bruce Wayne from becoming a monster, set the entire mansion on fire along with him and Bruce Wayne inside in order to stop the more tragedies from happening. But as we know, that didn't happen. Instead, it pretty much just fed into this Batman's illusions of what he wanted to do with his Bat family. The one other character that seems to be highlighted in this situation is Jason Todd. Another odd character to bring up, but in context it does make sense. Jason Todd is always said to be the one that comes back, always is resurrected, and is always out to get revenge against Batman or Joker or whoever it is that wronged him in the end of the day. So maybe that's the place he's taking. Usually I'd say that maybe he's become the perfect Robin for Batman because of the Batman symbol on his eyes. But he seems to have a Joker smile. He seems to have more Joker-like attributes than Batman. So it leads me to think that Jason Todd in this version is not going to become a Robin or a Red Hood. He's going to become a Joker, but a Joker that's seeking kind of a revenge thing. That he's going to be after Batman. It's going to be becoming this big colossal fight, or at least this leak of truth, if you will. That there will be a big conflict between the two coming in the later years. It's an interesting idea, and I can't really see what's going to happen along the way, but it does seem to be pointing towards a direction like that. Alright, well that was my take on the Batman analog horror, The Bat. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please, go see the original videos. Like I said, I'm going to keep them in a link to the original down below in the comment section, and of course in the video description. I do say that you should go check it out. I don't really own any of this, but I do hope that you enjoyed my take on it and my theories on it. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe. It would really help me out. I'd really appreciate it. And come back next time. I'll have another review this week coming up. If there is any movies, classic or otherwise, that you want me to review, please leave in the comment section. If not, then please let me know if you want me to check out any analog horrors or anything like that could make an interesting theory out of. And yeah, hope to see you guys next time. See ya.